Hey guys, welcome. Welcome aboard if you're new, welcome back if you're not, welcome home if you like hanging around here. This is the weekly What's Up for the week of February the 6th through the 12th, 2023. As always, let's get right in, right? So we start this week with a Leo moon, and overnight we have a couple of quick quincunxes, say that 3 times fast, to Mercury and Neptune, and then in the morning in opposition to Saturn. Mercury himself is going to sextile Neptune. Why, hello. And the moon will quincunx Pluto, and then the moon moves into Virgo, right? So this is a day that might feel a little nitpicky, a little focused on like fine tuning, a little hypercritical, a little too zoomed in, right? And here's the thing, those are not bad things, right? There's never a bad thing. There's only a bad time. There's only a challenging application. So if those things today, you find that they feel more uncomfortable than usual, and you feel that they're changing your focus in ways that are creating harsher patterns than you like, there is a solution. Step back. Right? Step back from the canvas, step back from the situation, step back from the circumstance, close your eyes, take a breath and look again, right, with expanded vision. Here's the deal, that Mercury sextile Neptune gives you a powerful depth of expression, right? And as the moon is quincunxing Pluto, it is simply asking you to make sure, right, that you're utilizing your expression, wow, to further your own vision, to further your own transformation, to further your own beginning. Right? Sometimes we have to let go of a thing, and if that thing is that deep focus, in order to witness something in a new or more expanded way, do it. What are you losing? Nothing except perspective. I think, you know, on Tuesday, the 7th of February, the moon is in Virgo, right? It's creating that hyperfocus. We also have quincunxes to Jupiter and Chiron, a square to Mars. Why, hello. So much happening. An opposition to Venus herself, right? A trine to Uranus. And then right before the day shifts, Venus sextiles Uranus, right? So it might take all day to iron out those wrinkles in your energy. That's okay, right? You might feel like you have no elbow room. You might feel a little helpless. You might feel immobile. You might feel like those old narratives are really calling you backwards. That's okay. That's okay, right? It happens. Those are opportunities to realign yourself, right? So you remind yourself that those are only illusions. You stay in your now. You stay in your clarity. You stay in your presence. You stay in your sense of home, and you let the nonsense, right? Things that are not making sense, things that are not applicable to your sense of home, you let those things fall away, and you welcome that change and opportunity. Big time. On Wednesday, the 8th, that Virgo moon is going to quincunx the sun, and then oppose Neptune, trine Mercury, and quincunx Saturn. Here's the deal. Remember that every challenge, just like yesterday, is an opportunity. You are self-defining, right? And the evidence of your self-definition is the way that you're living your life. So your clarity is yourself, right? Your clarity is your evidence. Your clarity is that first place where you begin. If you are not clear on your first step, then no steps following are going to give you that clarity. So rather than occupying yourself with finding clarity outside of yourself. First, find clarity within. And then everything else that comes from that is an expression of your own clarity. Every action is an expression of your clarity. Every expression is an expression of your own clarity, right? And that only comes with that self-identification as clarity, right? Always ask, never wonder, even when it comes to yourself. On Thursday, the 9th, wow, look at all these majors, y'all. On Thursday the 9th, this is a day of big feelings, right? That Virgo moon, oh, hello. That Virgo moon is going to trine Pluto and then move into Libra. And that's all overnight. And then later in the day, that Virgo moon is going to oppose Jupiter. So here's the deal. Like I said, a day of very big feelings, deeper, wider feelings. So let them surprise you if they have to, right? Sometimes that shock is enough to jolt you into that new pattern, which is really a theme of the week, right? So you might have urges to, hello. You might have urges to put things to rest today, right? To create new avenues toward balance and harmony, right? Remember, if we're carrying the past, we are not into the now. And if we're not in the now, we're somewhere else. And we don't have power. If you're not here in the present, you don't have power. So lead with your whole heart, lead with your whole soul, and let that be your amplifier. Right? And see what echo comes back. See what echo comes back as you allow yourself here in the present to be that emission. Right? It's going to make a noise, as all things do. It's going to create a vibration. It's going to shift a frequency. And all you can do is see what comes back. Right? And that will give you an indicator, right? Just like we talked about earlier in the week, that definition is your evidence. What's coming back to you is your evidence of how you're leading. So pay attention. On Friday, the 10th, the moon in Libra is going to trine Mars, oppose Chiron, and quincunx Uranus. And then early in the morning-ish, Mercury is going to conjunct Pluto in Capricorn, right? And then the moon is going to do a little bit more cha-cha-cha with a quincunx to Venus and Neptune and a trine to the sun. So here's the deal. It might feel a little wobbly today, right? It might feel a little like the depths are calling you. That's okay. That's a function of how you are recreating yourself. So find that notion of alchemy and find the motion of alchemy in your own transformation and witness the pressure is doing the work, right? The pressure is going to always do the work for you. Row your boat, yes, but realize you're the current and there is no effort required, right? It's been you all along, right? Think about that one. On Saturday, the 11th of February, Mercury moves into Aquarius for 19 days. This is kind of important. It's about upgrading our communications, our ideas, our thought processes, our belief patterns, things like that, right? This is pure mental energy, and it is quite lovely. So the key here is new, right? New ideas, new innovations, recognizing that that it's okay to shift your beliefs, right? You do not need to keep your old patterns alive. Have you reassessed them? Have you witnessed how your highest and best is being served? It's okay to learn. In order to learn a thing, we have to let go of what we have believed. In order to learn a thing, we have to evaluate what we have done in the past. In order to learn a thing, we have to be open to a new way. So on Saturday, February the 11th, really keep that in mind. Chiron is sextiling Mars, right? So those new ways of being as your highest self require that you ask yourself, what do you say now as your newest, highest self? What do you think now as your newest, highest self? What do you feel now as your newest, highest self? And remember that you're healing so that you have the capacity to show up as those new ways and in those new ways, right? That's why we do the work. That's why we do the work. And at the end of that day, I don't think I talked about this. So the Libra moon is going to trine Saturn and square Pluto. And then Mercury in Gemini is going to sextile Chiron in Aries, right? How are we telling an unlimited story about who and what and how we are? And then the moon moves into Scorpio before squaring Mercury. So the bottom line is that moon is going to require, right? Scorpio is an energy of requirement, right? It's an energy of union and discernment. And so it asks you, well, first it invites, and then it, and if you engage, it's going to pull you in as far as you're able, as far as you have capacity. So how do you have the capacity to show up? And what are the new ways you may be asked to show up? And are you open to those, right? On Sunday, the moon in Scorpio quincunxes Jupiter and Chiron and Mars, and then opposes Uranus. So again, this is a challenge to yesterday's opportunities, right? Jupiter and Chiron and Mars energy. How are you expanding? How are you healing? How are you moving toward or away from that story of your own healed self, right? The challenge is to balance while letting the new have you. The challenge is to balance while letting the new have you, right? And if you feel a little motion sick, that's okay. We all get a little motion sick from time to time. Transition is a challenge, right? It breaks, well, hello. It breaks old patterns. And so we have to remember that our adjustments are temporary. And change is lasting, but you are forever, right? It's your capacity that you're shifting. It's your capacity that you're shifting. And from there, anything is possible. All right, let's get in here. So on Monday, we have the Nine of Wands and the Six of Cups. The Nine of Wands asks us, what are we holding on to that we might not need to hold on to? Where are we being stubborn or so resolute that we're not allowing shift, right? And the Six of Cups is that card of unconditional love, right? This is that real heart chakra energy of anahata, right? The unstruck. This is loving and feeling as though we've never been hurt. So remember that we're talking about feeling nitpicky, feeling focused on the hypercritical aspects, like being so zoomed in that we can't really witness what we require, what is good and good for us, right? And so remembering that we might feel uncomfortable and that we might witness that this stubbornness, this tenacity creates something that we might not want. Instead, take a step back, right? Take a step back and be in this energy of real love, purest love. Witness as your expansion instead of your custom, your ritual, your tradition. See what's possible if you find that fresh perspective, that unhurt perspective. Like, remove all your jadedness and see what's possible, even if you don't have to talk about it. Just see what's in there, right? Because it's in there. It's just about whether or not you're willing to recognize it. On Tuesday, we have the Knight of Pentacles and the High Priestess. So the Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight in the deck, but he's also the most reliable, the most trustworthy, the safest, right? He is that energy that is always there. And the High Priestess is that intuition, right? That listening to our deepest voices in our soul, right? Not the voice in your head. She is the voice in your soul, right? She's channeling information directly from the divine, directly from source, directly from creator, right to you. So if you find that on Tuesday you're feeling like you have no energy or no elbow room or no mobility, right? Take a breath. Take a breath. Remind yourself that what you're witnessing is only an illusion, right? And if you're able to stay in the now, in your clarity, right, then all the nonsense will necessarily fall away, because you know what's at the base of all of that motion. Doesn't matter how slow you're going, only matters that you're going. Doesn't matter where you're going, only matters that you're following your alignment. So don't mind the illusions and just stay in your progress. Stay in your lane. Know that your intuition's always going to get where you need to be. Temperance and the Hanged Man. Temperance is a beautiful card, right? It's about how we synthesize our experiences, how we synthesize our thought patterns, how we take what has been and process it in the here and now, right? This is that knowledge plus experience equals wisdom. And then we have the Hanged Man, who's willing to wait, right? The Hanged Man is willing to shift perspective, willing to wait until that divine time is right. And what do we know? Divine timing is your timing, right? Divine process is your process. So if you're remembering that all those challenges are opportunities and you're defining yourself, and the evidence is the way that you're living your life, and the only starting point is you, right? You and your self-clarity, right? This is that beautiful divine clarity that comes from shifting your perspective and stepping out of your experience and being willing to fuse your experience with your knowledge, no matter how long that takes and no matter what it's required. Right? Like, I'm willing to do that, even if it feels weird. I'm willing to do it, even if it feels uncomfortable. I'm going to shift my perspective so that I'm in alignment with what's coming in for me, right? That's the only starting point. After that, we have expression. But first, we must have alignment. Keep that in mind. On Thursday. So we have the devil, the devil, wow, the devil and the Seven of Cups. We talked about this as being a day of deep feelings that might surprise you, right? And if you have the urge to put things to rest today, allowing yourself to move toward balance, knowing that you can't carry things in from the past, and that you have to be willing to allow all of that to become your own mission, right? We're not looking at anything else. We're not pulling things in from the past, right? All of our options include the fact that we are our source, right? We are that channel of stillness. And what happens in the 3D is not a thing that can be carried, right? You're your own option. You are your own source of fulfillment. No matter what's coming toward you, you are the processor. You're the amplifier. You're the applicator, right? You're the moving part. Nothing else. nothing else. And if you choose to drag that baggage, right, from the past, the devil is that baggage in the 3D, then you're limiting all of your other choices instead of focusing and finding your own, right? We see this as our theme. What are you focusing on? Where is your energy tied? That's up to you. We've got the Tower and the Three of Pentacles. Well. So the Tower is cataclysmic change. It's shift. It's required, right? There is no option, right? The Tower is often either a very sudden event, or perhaps in retrospect, what we realize is that we've missed the whispers, the invitations, the messages, the symbols from the universe, and then all of a sudden the universe has to kind of boot you out of the nest, right? So the Three of Pentacles is about collaboration. This is about how you find your function within the real world as you choose to apply it, right? This is about teaching and learning. It's about what you're willing to put in is what you're going to get back, right? So if we're witnessing that this is that day of kind of wobbliness, right? We feel a little off kilter. We feel a little unstable in our own transitions. This is that day of finding the motion of alchemy in your own transformations, right? And witnessing that pressure has been doing all the work for you. We talked about this as being the day that row your boat, certainly, but also know that you're the current. And if that's a shock or a revelation, take it for what it's worth. You are the current, right? You can row if you want, or you can just let the boat get where it's going. On Saturday, boy, we have the Lovers and the Four of Swords. Okay, so the Lovers is a beautiful card, right? It is divine union. It's blessed relationship. The Four of Swords asks you to be in that quiet, in that silence, in that kind of holy revelation. The Lovers is also a card of questions and answers and choices. And so we have Mercury moving into Aquarius, giving us new ideas, right? The Four of Swords, as we know, is a card that asks us to recreate the structure of our own ideas after loss, after the perception of sorrow or sadness or heartbreak. And so how can you make a choice to create your ideas of movement or beingness, or what you are your highest self as and through and in and for? How can you shift your idea about that, right? Because we're talking about what do you say as the you who is now, right? What do you say? How do you feel as that you? How do you interact as that you, right? What are you going to bring forward in your newness, in your healed self, right? Mercury, or Mars in Gemini, I'm so sorry, is sextiling Chiron. What you do, what you create is exactly in alignment with how your capacity is to be healed. How you are in relation to those ideas is exactly your capacity to be healed, and to tell that story about your healed self. The Scorpio moon squares Mercury in the afternoon, really, really diving into that deepest expression that is available to you. Your capacity is as wide as your capacity. Now think about that for a minute. Your capacity is as wide as your capacity. And so what do you do in order to widen it? You ask the question, how can I be in deeper alignment, right? With yourself, with others, because really think about it, your first and foremost relationship is with yourself, right? So you have to heal that relationship before you can heal your relationship with anyone else. On Sunday the 12th, that beautiful Scorpio moon is going to quincunx Jupiter and Chiron and Mars, right? So as we have the Six of Swords and the Four of Pentacles, this is about being in transition. And what are you holding on to? You can't really transition from one place to the next if you're holding on, right? You can't carry the old stuff into the new place. So we talked about this as really, really being that place where how are you expanding your healing? How are you moving toward or away from that new story, right? The challenge is to balance while you're letting the new have you. Transitioning while holding on to the past is not going to work. And in fact, that's what's creating your motion sickness. So make that adjustment, and understand that it's your capacity, right, that you're shifting. Like we talked yesterday, your capacity is your capacity, but this is your capacity that is changing. Adjustment is temporary. Change can be lasting, but you are forever. So what you're transitioning from is the old version of yourself to the new. It requires release, and it's going to happen over and over and over and over and over again in your life, right? Don't consider, oh, I'm going to do this and then everything will be great or okay. No, we're going to do it, and then we're going to do it again, and then we're going to do it again, because you're in a constant state of evaluation and reevaluation. You're in a constant state of shift and change. Does it create motion sickness? Yeah, if you're holding on. But if you're rocking on that boat with the current, it does not. Here we are in Act Accordingly, right? So actions are the evidence of your capacity, right? Actions are the evidence of your capacity. And the bottom line is that how you are in action tells you everything, right? That tells you where you need to do more work. It tells you where you have really stepped into a healed story. It tells you perhaps, you know, it allows you to witness your victories. It allows you to witness your requirements. What is required? You'll figure it out, right? We keep moving so that we know. We stagnate, we can't see a thing, right? We're only looking from one perspective. So we have the Chess Queen, trust and strategizing. Indeed. The Chess Queen has all the tools you need to aid in your quest for a life of purpose, peace, and prosperity. When she arrives, you're given the task of asking Spirit for a vision of your life. Why, yes, indeed, we are. Ask also to know the right actions to ensure your part in this process of unfolding. Then, with a sense of trust, allow the strategy to be given unto you by the divine. Are your own goals and desires in alignment with the divine plan for your life? This is a reminder that there is your plan, and then there is the divine plan for your life. When you're in alignment with the latter, all manner of messages are delivered to you to aid in taking the next right action in your life. The Chess Queen says that you will win this game as long as you let Spirit choose your moves. Follow your bliss and the inspired messages delivered by your soul. You cannot lose when you enter the realm of the Chess Queen. So listen, we talked about divine timing is your timing. Yes, we did. We talked about listening to the messages and taking that next right action. And we talked about maintaining your alignment and following your next right step, right? We talked about trusting yourself and then expressing. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Capacity, right? Shifting your capacity. Right. Guys, have a great week. Right? Big blessings. Take care.